Hey, welcome back, my interstellar besties. I hope you're having a good time here, and if you are, hit that subscribe button, drop an alien emoji, and let's jump right in. Drop an alien emoji.
Alright, here's why the Quiet Place apocalypse is so difficult to survive. Now think about it, despite there being only a few handfuls of these death angels on Earth, they absolutely crippled our planet. These little bastards are basically nuke-proof considering how hard they impacted when they landed on Earth. Coupled with the fact that no one was expecting this, if you were in the immediate vicinity of one of these things, you're getting murked. Like, the opening of A Quiet Place 2 really showed how only a few of these things could murk an entire city. And despite them being on Earth for over a year and a half, the military still couldn't take them out. In fact, these Death Angels murked the military. Now, eventually, some higher up with the power to make a change will figure out their weakness to frequencies, and once humanity knows that, we're taking our planet back. But could you survive until those sonic-based weapons are ready? Now, let's say you get lucky and you survive the initial wave. You know, you find out about these aliens beforehand. You find out you gotta shut the hell up. But even then, there's no permanent safety in this world. Unless you manage to get across to an uninhabited island, you are basically screwed. Despite there only being a handful, they will eventually kill their way towards wherever the hell you are. They follow the noise, and regardless of how good you are, eventually somebody's gonna crack. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Don't forget to follow for more. Peace.
Alright, so did you guys see this video? You have to let me know, was it any good? And if it was, don't spoil it for me. Just let me know if it was good. Alright? Is it on Netflix?
That scientists successfully created the world's first human-monkey hybrid in a lab in China. The terrifying breakthrough came in 2021 after researchers from the USA and Spain traveled to China in order to get around bans which prohibit this kind of research in their own countries. They said that they wanted to use animals to create organs for human life-saving transplants, and that creating the hybrid was an important step. The team revealed that they had successfully injected human stem cells into monkey embryos, and some survived up to 20 days before having to be terminated for ethical concerns. Just one of the concerns that has led to this kind of research being restricted in most countries is that apparently it's very difficult to restrict human cell growth to just one organ of interest. And if the stem cells escape and create human neurons in the brain of an animal, the ethical concerns would be extreme. The research team said that the results were very promising and pledged to continue their experiments using primates. So the question is, do you think that one day these experiments will be successful or not?
World is the hottest game out right now, but the devs have been receiving death threats. Why, you ask? The CEO of the game studio Pocket Pair tweeted that their artists in particular have been receiving threats. So could the reason be that their Pokemon-like creatures look too much like Pokemon? The game itself has a lot of similarities to Pokemon, well, aside from the fact that you can use guns, give the guns to your pals, and force pals to work in a factory to make more guns, amongst a bunch of other crazy things you can do in the game. But the moment the game dropped, upon closer inspection, people started to notice that some of the pals really actually do look a lot like specific Pokemon. This thread by Cecilia Faye in particular has dozens of examples. I mean, come on. And look, Palworld is not the first monster tamer game not named Pokemon, but is Palworld breaching the line of plagiarism? We know one thing for sure though, this Pokemon mod that's coming out soon is definitely gonna get in trouble. Is it bad that I kind of want to try it?
Okay, so have you guys played Palworld? What do you think about it? And do you think that they're gonna get in trouble for plagiarism or whatever, copyright or something?
Worst Ways People Have Died, Part 13. This is Jason Coy. Jason was reportedly sitting on the railing of a stadium stairwell when he lost his balance and fell backwards. The witness said Jason hit his head on every level on the way down. The accident reportedly happened in the enclosed stairwell at Denver's Mile High Stadium. Jason fell almost 60 feet before hitting the ground and unfortunately passed away from trauma injuries.
Oppenheimer reference in Shark Boy and Lava Girl? But wait, Shark Boy and Lava Girl came out in 2005, and Oppenheimer just came out a couple months ago. So how did they know about the atom bomb almost 20 years before Christopher Nolan released the film? Kind of makes you think.
Jupiter's giant red spot is shrinking extremely fast. This spot is a storm happening on the planet's surface with an estimated width of about 16,000 kilometers. To put this into perspective, 16,000 kilometers is enough to get you almost halfway around the entire Earth. However, even though it still might seem huge, when it was discovered, it had an incredible width of more than 48,000 kilometers. So why is it shrinking so rapidly? The most reasonable explanation scientists point to is because of some strange activity occurring in the planet's atmosphere, which is draining the energy of the storm, thereby causing it to shrink.
Wow, that is like so wild. Like when I saw this, I automatically thought that it must be that the storms were getting stronger and that they were going faster and like going so fast that they were pushing that ice to make it smaller. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think? I would have never guessed that.
The 31 most haunted places in the world in 31 days. The Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel, nestled in beautiful Banff, Canada, is rumored to have many ghosts staying in it. The most famous spirit is known as the Bride. Her tragic tale dates back to the late 1920s, when on her wedding day, she slipped and fell while descending a marble staircase, leading to her untimely demise. Another story is that her dress caught on fire due to a candle's flame on the stairs. Regardless, it is said that her veiled figure can still be seen on those stairs. A friendly spirit known as Sam the Bellman can apparently be seen assisting guests or staff around the hotel. Haunted Room 873 is also infamous, being the site of a family. Guests who stayed there reported waking up to screams and discovering bloody handprints on the mirror. The room is now inaccessible from the hallway, either to prevent guests from entering the room or due to renovations, depending on who you ask. With these and many other ghostly tales, the Fairmont Banff Springs is definitely one of the most chilling places in Canada. Follow me for more.
There were rumors that you had a baby with a man you weren't married to. Why would you be hanging out with him? Why would you be going to the movies with him? The only reason you would hang out with this man during that time is if he was the father, so he could interact with you while you're pregnant with his child, so he could bond with the child a little bit, right? Like, why else would they hang out? Here are comparison photos for you. I get that like every white boy looks the same, but like hanging out with him during all of this speculation is so disrespectful towards the father of your child. Unless Justin is the father of the child. Like, why would they fuel those rumors? Also, it's dragging the kid into all of this. Also, whenever you see a video of Rain online, there are a million comments about how he looks just like Justin Bieber. And they even have similar mannerisms according to like people close to Rain. And I understand that you act like the people around you, but some of your like mannerisms are genetic. That is true. But if you still don't believe me, I have even more to say. Don't you worry. Part 3 is already up. And follow my TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for more. It really helps when you interact.
Someone has some serious explaining to do. That is crazy. No way.
As a researcher, you're going to come across all kinds of things and you have to take precautions. And this would be something that I wouldn't just walk up real quick to. I'd walk up and try not to make a lot of noise. That is a mud mermaid, and if you're not careful, if you get too close...
You're stupid if you think his island was the only one. Let's be frank, not a single person has been held accountable for what went down there, which means they're all just still floating around in society. And I apologize for how insensitive this is about to sound, but we have to be blunt with it, alright? That entire thing that was going down there is no different than a regular economy. It's all based off of demand and supply. And if nobody went to jail, none of the demand went away and got punished for what happened, well then, this equation doesn't change. And we know that to be true because the number of people who are being trafficked just consistently increases every year. And this is only the confirmed cases. If there's a demand for it, which we know there is, that means that some other immoral person is going to fill that gap in the market and provide a new island. And I want to make a more detailed video on this. You guys know I cover this quite frequently. Every time there's a major news event that happens, you go look up and new Epstein news came out. I'm shocked that there is no news article that came out that swept headlines and everyone's attention away from this, aside from maybe the earthquake in Japan, but that's another rabbit hole I don't want to go down to.
Proof that the Bible is true. Watch this video.
They're saying here that this is the population size over time, going all the way back to, they believe way before the Bible says the world was created. But essentially, there's about 1 million people alive across the world for tens of thousands of years, and all of a sudden, somebody invents farming. And that means that extra population can be handled because there's more food, and all of a sudden, the population does that, and we have 7 billion people today. And how come the people with the same genes back here, who were just as smart as people here, they didn't think of planting something in the ground and harvesting it the next year? This is really magic back here.
Right.
Taking that thought, I applied that to a biblical idea where this is the flood, this is today. And starting from those 6 people, all you have to do is double the number of people every 156 years. And you arrive at 7 billion people after 4,500 years. Just about any model that has any growth at all, you can get this many people in those many years. So the human population size actually is a biblical human population size. If evolution was true and we existed for so many thousands of years before that, there should be trillions of people. Not that it's possible. Or someone should have invented farming earlier than that. Or another way to ask it is this. If 1 million people live for about 1 million years, where are the trillions of bodies?
That's a really good question.
They don't exist.
There's no bones down there.
Yeah, there are some ancient bones we found, great, but those are post-flood people. Right. There should be millions upon millions upon millions of cemeteries, old villages, and remains of people, and we don't find them. I believe it's because they didn't exist.
Look. See, look, y'all thought I was playing. I know y'all see those lights. Look at them. Not them little ones because my little mirror thing scratched up. I know you see those right there, floating. Oh my, bruh, this every day out here, or every night, but still, look at that. Bruh, this really in Miami. I'm not playing. Look, this airport is right over here. That's the airport. They always got little lights and stuff. It's probably airplanes. But over here, this ain't the airport. Look at that. And them clouds not even moving. How the whole cloud not gonna move? It's just sitting there at nighttime. It's crazy. Look, ain't no other clouds in the sky. But right over here, look at them. And look at those lights. Bruh, y'all could, hey. Oh wait, it's a couple clouds right here, but look, they just frozen too. All right, look.
I'm scared.
That episode where Patrick became smart and he had like a different head on his head?
Oh, like the big, the brain.
So the brain episode. So there's a theory that when Patrick put on that brain on his head, it was actually planted by plankton.
Why? To make him smart?
Check this. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, you can literally see it in the episode when he puts the head on top of his head. There's like the plug that goes inside, remember? And then what happens to the gears? The gears start turning and there's cobwebs. But the gears and the cobwebs, they're not from his head because obviously he put on a new head. But why would there be gears and cobwebs?
Yeah.
It would be from something else. Now check this out. At the end of the episode where he became like Patrick again, he became like dumb again. Yeah. Now this is where it gets really fucked. Yeah. It's because ever since he put back on his original head, quote unquote his original head, he became Patrick again dumb. But since that episode, Patrick would have a 1-2 times where he's fucking smart. Like he would have like a hiccup and a smart moment.
Yeah.
And throughout SpongeBob, after the episode, you could see it.
So this person was in a plane when you see this weird silver thing shoot past them. I mean, they freeze frame. It kind of looks like the shape that people have been talking about with like kind of formless, no propulsion or anything like that. But we actually just saw another one similar to this where it ended up just being like a balloon. So I don't know. It's hard to tell how fast this thing is going. If it's going towards the plane or away, who knows? Either way, let us know what you guys think.
It's so crazy how these people always seem to have their cameras out just in time, right? Just for that 10-second video.
Do not make this mistake when scavenging for food after SHTF. Most people are going to hit the grocery stores and the convenience stores almost immediately, but these places are at the end of the food supply chain, and that's not where you want to go scavenging. The smart prepper is going to move further down the food distribution chain while everyone else is fighting for Pop-Tarts at the grocery store. The food supply chain starts at the farm, and people are not going to bum rush the farms, at least in the beginning. And then it moves to transportation, trucking, rail cars, that sort of thing. Whatever moves goods from the farms to the next spot, which would be factories. Once the food gets out of the trucks and off the rail cars and into the factories, of course, where foods, raw ingredients are made into food products. And there's a lot of food stored at these facilities. Most people don't even know the food factories that are even in their backyard. Next will be the distribution centers, where all the factories' foods go to the distribution centers to be stocked and shipped off to the stores, the convenience stores and the grocery stores. This is where you're going to be able to find the most diverse set of foods outside of grocery stores themselves. So the further you move down that food distribution chain, the better your odds will be of securing food in a crisis. Other preppers or other people in general will soon catch on to this, so if you can get ahead of that curve, you're going to get food while everyone else is fighting at the end points of the food distribution system. Commit these places to memory in case the worst happens.
Apparently, there's this river in Russia that turned red because of like pollution and a whole bunch of other.
Really?
Yeah, like watch here, I'll show you a picture.
The river's red.
The
like
river
blood
is
red.
Blood red, bro.
What the? In Russia?
In Russia.
That is wild as. Yeah, I feel like there's something in the books that's a sign of the end or something.
Look how red this river is.
That's real.
This is real. This is real. It's called the Iskitimka River.
Are you serious?
It's because of contamination of like minerals and like other pollutants.
And it just turned the
whole river red. Yeah.
That looks wild as. That looks like some Twilight shit.
Oh yeah, it really does.
That
yeah.
actually is crazy.
It's all snowy and it just has a red river.
That is wild as. I'm not gonna lie to you. What a shot, dude! Like what a shot.
The whole river, like, and they said like animals don't even want to swim in it, like ducks are not swimming in it, and then like that.
Hell no. You know what I mean?
Red water is crazy.
I'm like, that shit might die these animals.
Man.
You know what I mean? Dye them all red and
probably kill them
for sure. Are you kidding me? I don't think that, especially the color type of red it is. Dark red. Nigga, that's like blood. I didn't think it was for real type shit, bro. That's wild.
This literally looks like blood. That's why it is also Twilight shit.
Yeah, bro. What the
But I guess it said like other rivers also had turned red in Russia too.
Yeah, see what I mean, bro? It's like,
what the fuck is happening?
Dark Web's most terrifying video. Out hunting. This man is stunned to discover two frightening buildings.
There are three kinds of aliens: the Greys, insectoids, and the reptilians. But 9 times out of 10, what people report seeing are the Greys. The reptilians, I don't think those accounts are credible. The invasion already happened. No one knows exactly when. But they're here. They've been here.
Do you know what they want?
They seem to be studying us, experimenting on us. One thing we know for sure is they use our fears against us.
These are some morbid facts about President Abraham Lincoln. Aside from being assassinated, Honest Abe lived through his fair share of dark days. He was kicked in the head by a horse at age 9, nearly severed his thumb with an axe, got frostbite on his feet, was clubbed in the head during a robbery, survived malaria and smallpox, and experienced the deaths of his mother, sister, and 2 sons. He was so deeply depressed throughout his life that he refused to carry a knife out of fear that he would harm himself. There is only one photo ever taken of Abraham Lincoln giving a speech, and his killer John Wilkes Booth can be seen in it. A few days before he was assassinated, Lincoln told multiple people about a disturbing dream he had. In the dream, Lincoln saw a soldier standing next to a casket and could also hear people weeping. Still dreaming, Lincoln asked the soldier, "Who's dead in the White House?" The soldier turned to him slowly and said, "The President." The man who was sitting next to Lincoln on the night he was shot was overwhelmed with guilt for the rest of his life for not preventing it. He slowly went insane and eventually stabbed his wife to death before being committed to a mental asylum for the rest of his life.
Let me know in the comments below, do you guys like these morbid facts about these famous people, celebrities, presidents and everything? Do you like hearing the stories about like 1,000 ways to die and all that crazy stuff? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you guys want to see some more videos like that. All right, thank you.
I believe history really does like repeat itself.
Depending on what it is, hell yeah.
Because there's a thing going around, it's like an 80-year theory or whatever, that something big happens in the world every 80 years. 80 years ago was, I think, 1944. That was the peak of World War II. 80 years before that, the peak of the Civil War started. And that's when like Abe Lincoln was elected president again, and that's when the Civil War was like really going. And then 80 years from that in 1784 was like the end of the American Revolution. So it's like every 80 years there's something big that always happens, like very traumatic to history. So people think that in 2024 that's what's gonna happen.
It'll drift. There's someone who looked at the shape of South America and the shape of Africa on a map and said, wait, that looks like it fits, but there's a whole ocean between them. Did these land masses once connect? Let's test this. Well, what might you do? You'll say, if they once connected, might there be fossils in common on both shores, even though there's an ocean between them? So you look, the fossils match, and other things start matching. But wait a minute, how the hell is land gonna move on a solid surface? No one had any idea about this. So it just sort of stayed there on the shelf, because even though this was intriguing evidence, it wasn't enough to convince everybody. And so what happens after the Second World War? Well, during, we're mapping the bottom of the Atlantic so the subs know where to hide and where to go. And in the center of the Atlantic, there's a ridge. Oh my gosh, there's a split. It's separating in the middle of the Atlantic. Once that was declassified and published, we had the mechanism and all the data fit. So you could say this person was a lone island, but they would gather, everyone was gathering evidence. And there were some holdouts, of course.
Look at their rockets. This is how they claim they get into outer space, is these rockets. Their rockets never go straight up. Every single rocket launch from a government space agency, you'll notice, follows a parabolic curve. It goes up, It reaches a peak, but what they do is as the rocket starts coming back down, they make sure that it goes down over the ocean, out of the way of any curious observers. Anyone can see it coming back down to Earth, asks, hey, how come the rocket's not going up anymore? Well, it's going around the curvature of the Earth, is what they tell us. So every single rocket, the reason that it follows a parabolic curve, they say, is because it's going around the curvature of the Earth. The real reason is they can't get up any higher than that.
The only thing that's been to space is your imagination.
They tell us that the Earth is a sphere. They show us pictures of a sphere, of a circle. It's a perfect circle. And then they come out and they say, well, it's actually an oblate spheroid. Oh, what's that? Well, it's a sphere that's flattened at both poles, so it's more of an oval shape. It actually bulges out south of the equator, as well as being flattened at the poles. So it's more pear-shaped.
So it's not actually a sphere. It's oblate. And officially it's an oblate spheroid. That's what we call it. But not only that, it's slightly wider below the equator than above the equator. A little chubbier. A little chubbier. Yeah. Chubby's a good word. It's like pear-shaped.
So now it's pear-shaped. So why are all of these official NASA photos and videos showing perfect spheres when it's actually an oblate spheroid or a pear-shaped spheroid? They can't get their story straight. And the reason they keep changing it is that to fit the model, they have to change the shape of the Earth. South of the equator is larger than north of the equator because lines of longitude that just extend outwards. They don't contract back. So they concede that in their pair model. They say, well, the side bulges out south of the equator. It's bigger south of the equator. Yeah, it is, because it's flat. But instead of admitting that, they just, make tweaks to their model as time goes on. They say that the ball Earth tilts back 23.5 degrees. That's another tweak they made because we can see Polaris, which is right over the North Pole, from 23.5 degrees south latitude. Shouldn't be able to see that on a ball. So they just tilt the Earth back and then okay, now you can see it. And so they come up with explanations in reverse like this. Damage control, reverse engineered explanations.
Have you ever received a gift from a loved one who has passed on? Here's the story of Dr. Graham and what made him believe. Here we go. Dr. Stephen J. Graham never believed in such things until one day when he was working in the emergency room at the hospital when he got a patient named John come in. He says for a doctor, it's nothing to see patients come in with all sorts of strange tattoos, maybe like this one. He says that while John came in for abdominal pain, the doc couldn't keep his eyes off of the guy's tattoo. It just intrigued him for some reason. The tattoo was made up of all sorts of symbols, but most predominantly was the coins. Much like this one. This one intrigued me. Is that a coin, I asked, pointing at his forearm. It's a dime, he said. I did it for my son, Robbie. He took a deep breath and paused, then I soon realized that it actually meant something to him. He said, yes, it's for my son. He was killed in a car accident on the expressway. It was over 10 years ago, but he was my only son. He loved coins and had an incredible coin collection. His favorite collection was the dimes. He had the unusual knack of finding them everywhere he went. We would go to a Cubs game and he would find a dime underneath the seat or on the way to his seat. Sometimes as we were walking out, he would find one on the sidewalk. Whenever we did something special together, he would find a dime. You probably won't believe this, but after he left us, I started to find dimes as well. Anytime I'd do something that would have been special for him, I would find a dime. If we went on vacation, he would love to go out to eat with us, and when we would go out to eat now, we would find a dime. I can almost count on it now. Every time we go out, I'll find one. I believe that's him and his way of communicating. I wanted Robbie to know that these dimes reminded me of him, and that made me feel like he was with us wherever we went. which is why I put this tattoo on my arm in remembrance of him. That's a touching story, I said, trying not to show my skepticism, yet at the same time, hoping it was true. After I finished his exam, John went in for a CT, which only showed a minor infection. And thanks for sharing Robbie's story with me. It was very touching. Johnny's story resonated with me, but I still couldn't get past the idea of a loved one giving you a gift after they pass on, as I've never heard of a ghost or a spirit leaving a physical gift for us before. I thanked him and went back to the doctor's area where patients have no access to. I sat down at the computer to finish up his notes when something on the floor caught my eye. And to my surprise, it was a dime. He says a sudden eerie feeling came over me, but then I smiled. And under my breath, I said, "Thanks, Robbie. Thanks for helping your dad. And thanks for allowing me to believe."
When I was 5 years old, I told my parents that I was not from this planet. I teleported to the womb of my mom. I started to be visited by extra-dimensional beings called Anunnaki. There are some races of Anunnaki who want control on Earth, and there are some of them who want to liberate Earth. So that's why we have a lot of conflict in our history, because they're behind the scenes. They are our ancestors.
You are saying that who is communicating with you is a current living version of the Anunnaki?
Yes. Thoughts on this? Have you ever met someone like this? Like, besides me? I actually did know someone who repeatedly told me that she was from a water planet. I don't know, maybe Neptune or something. What about you guys? Are you guys from a different planet?
You want to send me the thing where they asked the AI to generate pictures of a happy bunny?
Yeah, I did say that. It asked AI to generate a more and more enlightened bunny, and then the bunny becomes like super psychedelic.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah, that's it, that's it. Here's an image of an adorable bunny sitting in a grassy field surrounded by wildflowers. Make it happier. Okay, now even happier bunny is becoming quite a challenge, ChatGPT says. Happier. We've reached extraordinary levels of happiness in our bunny illustrations. You are not understanding. It needs to be far more happy. And it's a bunny, again, even more trippy in the clouds. Next one. Here's an image of an entity that transcends the form of a rabbit, embodying a happiness so vast and powerful it permeates all dimensions and universes. Look at this one. This is the end. Here is the image of an entity that embodies the ultimate form of happiness, transcending all known beings and concepts. This entity is the very essence of happiness, the only existing being, and the defining force of all existence. It's God. ChatGPT just drew us a picture of God.
A nuclear bomb has detonated. You are located just outside the blast radius. You've only got 15 minutes before fallout reaches you. It's okay, just follow the 6 S's of nuclear fallout survival. 1. Shelter in the right kind of building. Go to the nearest concrete or brick building you can find, ideally with few or no windows. 2. Sanitize your body. Put all clothes into a bag, place at the front door, take a shower with warm water, gently wash your entire body, keep cuts covered with plastic while showering. 3. Secure windows and doors. Close and lock all windows, seal them with duct tape, turn off AC units, fans, etc. All openings to the outside world must be covered. After a few hours, remove the duct tape, otherwise you could suffocate due to lack of ventilation. 4. Supplies. Get yourself 72 hours worth of water, medication, first aid kit, radio, flashlight, batteries, and also bags for waste. 5. Choose the right space. Get to a windowless room near the middle of the building, away from the outer walls, or go to a basement. Avoid rooms close to the roof because fallout collects on roofs. 6. Stay in place for 72 hours. The longer you wait, the more radiation will lessen. 72 hours is ideal. Okay, I'm Kiram, and this is the Master of Disaster series. Follow me on Instagram if you want to live.
If you haven't heard about the eclipse that's happening April 8, 2024, I'm sure some of you have, but some of you haven't. It's performing an X on the United States 2017 total eclipse also passed, and it's unique. It's crazy, right? We've heard of this. People are acting like this is normal and that we shouldn't take any caution or we shouldn't question why is these things happening. But this eclipse is literally passing some cities named Nineveh, and Nineveh was a town where Jonah, everybody knows about the whale, Jonah getting swallowed up by the whale, but actually a total eclipse happened in that city of Nineveh right before Jonah the prophet arrived to the city and told the people to repent for their sins, or if not, they were going to be judged as a nation. You hear that, America? But bro, there's something else. Explosive Devil Comet returns for first time in 71 years during April 8th eclipse. Bro, do you realize that that's another sign? Jesus said that in the last days there'll be signs in the stars, in the moons, in the heavens above. Bro, a literal comet named by NASA, Devil Comet, is passing on the same day of the total eclipse, y'all. This is a sign of the end times, man. Y'all better get y'all life in order, bro. You better turn away from your sin, man. God is warning the nation of America that something's coming to this nation, and you can mock it and play with it all you want, but if I was you, I will get my house in order. God bless you, in Jesus' name.
He warned us in 1997, y'all, how it was going to end. Come on, boy. Your ass going down, did he? He flying to that island. He gone. He warned us in 1997 how it was going to go down. Look. Get your ass on, boy.
Hey, thanks so much for watching till the very end. I hope that you really liked this video, and if you did, subscribe and drop me an alien emoji for your chance to win that Amazon gift card. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Stay safe out there.